They've been behaving really badly since, I think, around about when I noticed Sony being really controlling and cringe was around about No Man's Sky, which was what, 2015 or 16? I can't remember. Alright. Go! Alright, I'm going.
I've been actively following the Helldivers 2 situation over the last couple days, kinda just with my fingers crossed, hoping that Sony will change their mind about the awful
for the 10 gifted EDM
decision that's tanking the game. But unfortunately, just like my height, it hasn't changed. And now it looks like it's probably too late anyway. Even if you started putting like a rabbit's foot up your butthole for some good luck, it looks like it won't matter. Because in the words of a great man, this is democracy manifest. The game has been removed from 177 different regions.
That's a lot of countries based on how Steam divides region, wiping out a massive portion of players. That is so sad.
From Steam. So this ship is already sailed here. For those that don't know what's going on, Helldivers 2 is one of the most successful games of 2024, a game that I was personally so excited by and happy with that I made a whole video dedicated to singing its praises and just gushing grannies over it, about how rare it is for a game, especially a game like Helldivers 2, which is a live service game. And that title, live service, has a more negative connotation than the title Reddit mod. And yet Helldivers 2 went on to buck every dogshit trend that the gaming industry has been shoving down people's throats and found immense success. A massive, passionate community and a
hate live services. It has to be done really correctly to be successful, in my opinion. I think Helldivers did it really well from what I've heard from the shop system that they had. Yeah.
A huge player base. It's an incredible game and they do everything right with it in terms of how they deliver new content. It's just so good. It was positioned to just be an extremely popular game that had a very strong community forever, as long as they kept up this momentum. And yet, a couple days ago, from out of nowhere,
Sony!
They were able to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. Thanks to Sony, mainly. There was an announcement that all PC players that were playing Helldivers 2 through Steam would now need to link their Steam account to a PSN account in order to—
And you have to link it as well. And if you link the wrong country and they find out, you get banned. Isn't that awesome?
To continue to have access to the game. Now, this isn't unusual, and a lot of people were quick to point out, like, gamers are just spoiled, they're making a big deal out of nothing, this is a mountain out of a molehill, what a bunch of fucking barnacles here, this is all horseradish. Why are people making an issue out of it? And while they're right that it's easy to link an account and it's not unusual, it's more common than the cold if you play a game.
I'm so sick of making, like, different accounts for different stuff. I had to make an account to, mix it up. I had to make an account to use my microphone. I had to use an account to change mouse settings in my mouse. That's Logitech. Oh my god, I'm so sick of it. Apple constantly modifying you. I have like 90 accounts I never use. Yeah, I'm sick of it. Like, I hate it so much. Yeah, they love scraping your data. Kind of like scraping your nuts.
Game on Steam, sometimes you'll be forced to link to like a Microsoft account or, God forbid,
an Nvidia account. Yes, I hate that shit.
Like, this does happen a lot, but what they're not understanding about this case in particular is when Helldivers 2 launched, you did not have to do that. Now, we're going to get into the nitty-gritty because there were statements on the official page where you should link a PSN account, but they made it optional. Like, you didn't have to, you weren't forced to, which led to plenty of people from a ton of different regions buying Helldivers 2 who do not have access to the PlayStation Network, thus they can't link their Steam account to a PSN account.
I think I heard that if you're in one of the countries that's barred from making an account, some of them can buy a PlayStation and that way they can play. Like, that is so dumb. That you have to buy a console to, like, play it now. I'm so sick of it. Oh my god.
Meaning they won't be able to play this game going forward. And now we're reaching the point where we're at today where it's been removed from 177 different regions on Steam. So it's a massive fucking mess. And it is
in Ukraine,
headache. Like, there's no reason to tiptoe around this. No one likes having to link their account to other services. It just creates a lot more hoops to jump through. Yes, it's not a huge time investment, but it is a fucking nuisance. Especially Sony. Like, they're claiming that the reason behind this is for security. I mean, what a load of
I remember on the first day, someone in chat told me that the PlayStation Network gets hacked like every year. Every year it gets hacked. What security are you talking about, fool? Yeah, it's accurate. Yeah, someone in chat piped in like on the first day this came out, and the first couple of hours, they were like, "What security? They don't have it."
hooey. Security, Sony's infrastructure is like the least secure on the planet. I'd rather link my account to a known crypto scammer than link it to the Sony network. They get hacked every couple of years like clockwork. I wouldn't be surprised if hackers started holding their own E3 to make their upcoming announcements on the next Sony hack. It is so frequent, so it's not exactly the most secure place to hold your information. You're probably better off just writing down all your information on a piece of paper, folding it into a paper airplane, and throwing it out the window. It's probably safer that way. Like it's a ridiculous claim. I think the reason that they want everyone to link their PSN account is because it looks a lot better on their bottom line earnings report when they like go through all of their player counts and whatever. I think that's probably the reason behind it. Of course,
yeah, Blizzard does this too. Your MSUs, they go up and they go like, yeah, this game, the PlayStation Network is really successful because we acquired 1 million users. It's like, okay, well, how did you get those? By forcing people to sign up?
I'm not 100% sure why, but they seem to really be adamant about needing these accounts linked, which has completely ruined the reputation of Helldivers 2 because it's made everyone mad. So it's been reviewed by...
This exact same thing happened with No Man's Sky, and everybody told me that, like, oh, it didn't tarnish No Man's Sky's reputation. It only ruined Sony's, and I'm like, actually, nobody trusted No Man's Sky for literally like 2 or 3 years until like recently, probably. Where it's blew up overnight because they had a lot of updates that were better than fucking not Stellar Blade, Starfield. It's so stupid. It ruins their reputation and Sony's. Sony's more so, but it still does.
Bombed to shit. That got straight banished to the Shadow Realm. It used to have mostly positive reviews. Like literally one of
Waiting for multiple Sony network hacks happening around the same time just because gamers are pissed, on top of the scheduled actually aggressive hacks they usually get.
I wouldn't know, I don't play PlayStation. Last time I had a PlayStation was probably PlayStation 3, and it wasn't even mine, it was my brother's.
One of the video game industry's darlings. Now it's got negative reviews thanks to this change, and a lot of people are going to lose access to the game that they paid for, which is a problem.
To be fair, apparently Airhit us to review bomb it. I didn't see them say it directly, but one of their managers did. I'm pretty sure that community manager is gonna get fired for saying that. Yeah. The pissed off petty hacks on Sony are gonna be crazy soon. Probably. People really loved Helldivers, which is sad.
Now, there is refunds that are being offered, which a lot of people are taking, and it's just been a disaster for a game that is truly special. Helldivers 2 is such a good game, and it's...
Really? The CEO said it too. Okay, that's kind of based, honestly.
It's now been completely tainted forever because of this decision from Sony. A fucking classic Sony L here. So let's dive into a bit more of the weeds. I actually think Ludwig did a great job covering the broad strokes of this, so I'm going to play a couple clips from his video.
Ludwig!
Helldivers 2. This was on their Steam page since their launch 3 months ago.
This is what I'm arguing about. There was some impassioned chatter saying like, oh, Sony's gonna get sued, blah, blah, blah. I was like, it's not gonna stick though, because this was on their page from day one. I know this because I remember seeing it on the Steam front, right? Legal Mindset has a video about it. Yeah, I asked him and he said, go watch the video because I was streaming. They're not gonna get sued from the start, it would be required. Yeah, the thing is like, you're also going up against Sony and they have billions of dollars and you don't. They're probably gonna. He might open a class action lawsuit. I'm still not sold on the whole we can sue you. Is it bad that stuff like this is a big part of why I mostly stick to retro gaming? Retro games get fucked a lot too. Like remasters and stuff. A lot. If the countries don't play it, don't get refunds, they'll get sued. Yeah. Pretty much.
Go. This is actually my screenshot. It says right here, requires third-party account PlayStation Network supports linking to Steam account. However, they did not enforce it. And if you go to the FAQ on PlayStation's own website,
they changed those.
Signing into PSN is optional when playing a PlayStation game on PC. They have since changed this FAQ when they made this update today, and that's why people
a little sneaky
are not happy. Here's another page where it says, do I need a PSN account to play PlayStation games on PC? No, you do not currently. Now, they have changed this policy, and they're now saying you got to do it with certain games, including Helldivers 2, which has millions and millions of players.
So as you can see, it was clearly posted that you would need a PlayStation account.
Yeah, they changed the wording a little bit.
To play the game. However, it wasn't a rule that they were enforcing, and if you did any level of like digging on your own, you'd find that on their own official FAQs for Sony, they said that signing into it is optional. Thus, you would start to connect dots in your noodle like, oh, okay. So I downloaded Helldivers 2 on Steam. I'm not being forced to make a PSN account, thus, this must be one of those games where it's optional to make one.
All this also comes on the end of Stellar Blade debacle, so gamers were sensitive. Also, apparently all community managers are Karen psychos.
Holy shit, CJ, thank you for the 5K, you're insane! You make a really, really good point too, though. I think because of the situation with Stellar Blade basically being forcibly censored is also really true. I totally agree. Yeah, like the gamers were already pissed at Sony because people were basically implying and they were saying, oh, well, Sony kind of like twisted their arm about censoring it. And now it's coming out that they're doing the same thing with fucking with Helldivers. They probably sent a contract and said, well, if you want to get published, you're gonna have to do it. Yeah. Gamers already had the pitchforks out. Yeah, exactly. I think they're already pissed off. It broke the straw on the camel's back. Kind of happy Sony can't afford to buy companies the way Microsoft can, to be honest. Well, Microsoft is a little bit of a different beast, but yeah, Sony is kind of massive too. Maybe not to the extent of Microsoft. Micro hard.
I think I'll avoid doing that. I think I'll go ahead and press skip, which is something you can do or could do with Helldivers 2. So there'd be no reason for players to think that down the line they would change their...
Or give them a stupid toy or something they can use in-game. Blizzard did that too, I'm pretty sure. If you like got authentication, you get like extra backspace or something. Like, you don't have to, but yeah.
They changed their stance on this. Like, all of a sudden, hey, now you need to sign in here, Buster. You've been breaking the rules behind our back.
Pit, yeah.
Because they've made it clear that it is optional in cases. And it seemed like Helldivers 2 was one of those cases, which it was. But what they ended up saying is that there was a grace period. So, like, you could initially gain access to Helldivers 2 without a PSN account, but it was only for a temporary period of time to guinea pig it to get you hooked on it. And then you'd have to, you know, get your comeuppance here by signing into PSN, which I think is extremely misleading if that really is the case. If that was the plan from the beginning, if they had always planned to just get a huge influx of players and then just fucking bait and switch them with the PSN requirement.
They want to scrape your data so bad that they would do that and not think about the PR disaster that follows. That's what blows my mind. Do they not have like millions of dollars invested in like PR? Like, who let this happen? Like, why? Why would you risk doing this? Maybe because the reward of, like, doing this... Arrowhead knew, but they never communicated. Well, it could also be that they weren't allowed to, maybe? I don't know.
Also, don't forget chat. Just days prior, It came out that the Tsukihime Remasters art book that came with the PS4's limited edition was going to be censored. While for some godforsaken reason the Switch version's book wouldn't.
Wait, the Switch version, which is... Dude, Nintendo primarily makes stuff for kids? What? But for some reason, Sony censors more than Nintendo? Apparently so, yeah. That's actually kind of insane. Yeah, Sony has like a lot of 18 plus content, or at least it's made for adults or something.
BTW, this is by Aniplex, which is owned by Sony.
Wait, what? Kutan! Like 1,000 clams, man. You're insane.
Also, they sold Helldivers in countries that you can't even obtain a PSN.
Yeah, so my argument for that is that because they sold the game for people that can't even get PSN, I feel like that's a grounds for getting sued. I know I said they probably can't get sued, but I think that one singular fact that they sold knowing what was gonna happen is really bad. I think that's probably grounds to do something about that. Those folks are just getting refunded. I know, but if you don't get a refund or you choose not to get a refund, you could probably counter sue or like sue them outright. I don't know. Again, I'm not a lawyer, but it's still really fucked up what they did. Who's greenlighting? I don't fucking know, man. It is terrifying to think that there's people out there who own billions of dollars in the video game industry and the movie industry and the sound industry, because Sony makes, like, you know, stereos and shit.
We found the weak link in the last bastion of good games, which are Eastern games, for it appears DI is starting to pierce through Sony.
What happened? I thought Sony was a Japanese company. Are they not anymore? They were a Japanese company. They moved to Cali, California. Oh, so they're not Japanese anymore? Huh. Interesting. They moved in 2016. So that's when it all started, huh? Interesting. Okay.
I think that is like almost criminal. Because again, there are so many regions that had access to Steam that could download Helldivers 2 that cannot link with a PSN account, thus they're going to lose access to the game they paid for. That is fucked up. That is some super scummy shit. If
also think the money already moved through Sony and Arrowhead, which means refunds will be a massive timeline and headache.
Yeah. Maybe.
Sony the company is still in Japan, however Sony Entertainment is in California.
Oh, so Sony Entertainment is in Cali. Okay, I was about to say, I feel like that doesn't sound right that Sony is not in Japan, because Sony was Japanese. Or it is, rather. Can we cut Cali off? Man, you guys hate Cali, huh? Yeah, it's a subsidiary. I hate that the only reason I can think for doing this is money. We can't have a good game anymore without being numbers related. Welcome to late stage capitalism, where numbers only matter if they go up. Even if it means, you know, cutting a bunch of people out of your company because you want more money. Sony, sane, tita, do, do, daddy, sone, do.
if that really is the case, if that's what Sony's long-term plan was. I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if this is just one of those things where they're like, okay, we need more juice in our PSN numbers. Let's go ahead and force the massive Helldivers community to link with us. It'll be great for our numbers here. Like, that's probably the most likely answer, but still.
Yeah.
It is a problem. Like, it's not so much, again, the concept of needing to link an account from Steam to another service. That's been here prevalent for many, many years. It's the fact that so many people could do it without that step, and now they're retroactively adding that requirement, and that makes it impossible for a lot of players to play the game going forward. That is the main issue here. It's fucking stupid, and it is a decision that has completely ruined the reputation of Helldivers 2, and it makes me super sad to see that.
Arrowhead is partially to blame as they went along with Sony's account link. Counterpoint. They had no other choice because they had to sign a contract. Like, it's kind of rough. It is rough. You kind of have to fucking do the contract to publish a game, right? Yeah, they did not really have a massive choice. I'm sure Sony proposed to them that, and then they kind of had to. I could have been more open about the grace period. Again, they are under Sony. Sony, they are the game devs. Sony published the game. It is just how it works, and that's why it sucks.
Because this is a great game that has now just been run through the mud here.
No Man's Sky has happened the same thing.
These are the current available countries where you can make a PlayStation account. There's a
That's
lot
not
of
a lot,
users
actually,
who play this game who cannot make a PlayStation account, thus cannot play the game legally. Now, you might think, well, how about you just make up an account? But if you look at PlayStation's own rules, they say, well, hey, you have to make an account in the country that you reside in.
Otherwise, you get banned.
And if you don't, we may request identifying documents to prove that you were in that country. And if we suspect that you are not following our terms of service, we might remove or compromise your account. We might ban it altogether. You might lose access to be able to play the game that you paid for altogether.
I'm pretty sure that's for almost every account like that, to be honest. Doc Emperor, think of the 4 months. They demand biometrics. I don't know what their reasoning is, but I'm pretty sure every type of, like, gamer thing, like gamer-related stuff, like Blizzard, like Epic Games, blah, blah, blah. I totally never made a Japanese PSN account. Herb. Maybe not. Let me scroll up. It's not even capitalism anymore. It's almost straight monopoly of almost everything. I think it's like 16-bit companies own all others. Yes, that's what late-stage capitalism is, buddy. I know. It's crazy. That's what happens.
Their reasoning is rather psycho-controlling now that it's being picked apart.
Well, if you look at No Man's Sky and every other incident with Sony, they kind of have a gun to their head. Yeah, it sucks, but it is what it is. I just want to buy a game and play it. Pepe Sage, I know. Remember when you used to buy a disc and you could just put it into the fucking, into the computer and you could just play it? I said some tweets for the CEO and sub chat. We'll see if they bring it up in here.
So basically, the only way for a lot of the user base to play the game is if they break the rules that Sony laid out, which is a little bit fucking dumb to me.
It's a little bit fucking dumb to everyone outside of the Sony stupid tank, where they're in there just like actually huffing moron.
And the Sony fanboys. Or console fanboys are like, oh, just make an account. It's like, that's not the point, man. When I found out to play Minecraft, I had to make 2 different accounts to like log in. That pissed me off and made me not want to try and play the game. I'm not even kidding. It was such a fucking hassle. It was annoying as fuck. Annoying as all hell. I remember the first time I launched Fallout. I remember the Xbox Live bullshit popping up constantly, and that was my first, like, what is it called? Like, my first encounter with being annoyed that I couldn't just play a game without having the Xbox Live flash in front of my Fallout 3 every time I launched the game. It's just annoying.
On potions. It's crazy how they wouldn't see this as an issue. So, As Ludwig states, there is a list of every country that can have a PSN account, and there's a lot of places absent from that list that have access to Steam, have a lot of players for Helldivers 2, and will not be able to make this PSN account. The only way around it is to make a fraudulent PlayStation account, flub it a bit, which breaks Sony's rules, and you could lose your account because of that. So they have no options except to stop playing the game that they love. It's a problem, and it's an entirely avoidable one that didn't need to happen in the first place. Sony could have just continued to ride this cash cow into the sunset. Helldivers 2 is a smashing fucking success. It is a colossal achievement, and they have found a way to wipe their ass with it. And my heart absolutely breaks for the passionate team behind Helldivers 2. Now, initially when this stuff started happening, one of the community managers kind of made a fool of themselves. I'm not...
Hold on, though. I want to check Steam charts for 1 second. Steam charts, Helldivers 2.
I'm
sure it'll go down even more.
I'm sure you all know what I'm referring to here. They put on the clown makeup for a second, but shortly after that, they all did start wiping it off when they realized the actual problem isn't the 120 seconds it takes to create a PSN account and link it to Steam. The problem is retroactively having to enforce that rule, which kicks out tons and tons of their players. And there are plenty of players who just do not want to make a PSN account because it's not a secure database. Like, I think that's also a totally fine perspective to have, because they do get hacked all the fucking time. So, like, they get hacked more than, like, a terminal in Fallout 3. So, like, I do get that perspective for people that just do not want to do it because they want to keep their data safe. Thus, they're just going to drop Helldivers because they don't want to deal with PSN. But at the core of it, it's just the principle of Sony coming in here and ruining the fun.
All the time,
changing something
all
that
the
didn't need to
time.
be changed in the first place. They could have just sat back, put their hands under their thighs, kicked their legs in their corpo high chairs, and just been like, you know...
Friend lives in a shithole country with useless currency, so you have to pay like 20% of his monthly income just to get locked out of his purchase now. That is very sad. I hope your friend gets a refund. That's very, very sad.
Oh, hey, we're happy Helldivers is bringing us
That's
so much
not
money.
fair.
Thanks for doing all the hard work while we just get a royalty on it. Like, it could have been so easy. It was so easy. And now they've made it really hard for themselves, and in the process, they have tanked an incredible game's reputation. But anyway, that's kind of the gist of this situation here. I don't think Sony's going to walk back these changes. I think it is too late for that, since it's now been removed from Steam in so many places. I just don't see them changing their mind on it. And I think Helldivers is going...
No, they would have to make a fucking massive fucking, like, backpedal. Asmongold posted a 2-minute video with updates from the CEO like an hour ago. Oh, shit.
To continue to kind of bleed out here as more and more people leave. And it just, I don't know, that sucks. It's such a good game, and it just didn't have to be this way, Sony. You killed it. You took it behind the barn and you put it down. Ugh. It was so unnecessary. But anyway, just want to talk about it a bit. That's it. See ya.
See ya. Oh, man, it wasn't right. Why is Sony gotta be so shit? Because fuck you, we need money. That's why. Fuck you, money. Let me see.
15% of the last 236,000 reviews are positive.
Holy shit.
So they have a...
Holy crap. 200,000 reviews. Dude, that's even worse than Overwatch, chat. Yeah, Overwatch had less of a rapid one, because I remember it was like 50k in the first day, and then it was 100k like a few days later. Like, this is fast.
Effectively undone months worth of goodwill and memes in a matter of days. Okay, so the CEO's been down in the trenches. Somebody asked, PlayStation Network isn't supported by my country. What do I do?
I don't know. Oh, that is so sad.
The CEO of the company responds, I don't know. So this is a person who's saying, even worse, the CEO admitted that he knew for a long time about this and was still happy to take money from players who would not be able to play the game after a short while. I appreciate this honesty. It's still not less of a scam and a fraud. This is him...
What? I do have a part to blame. I am not blameless in all of this. It was my decision to disable account linking at launch so players could play the game. I did not ensure players were aware of the requirement and didn't talk enough about it. We knew for about 6 months before launch that it would be mandatory for online PS titles. That is so fucked up. He knew, but he didn't say anything. Ooh. That's not good, chat. That is definitely not good. I appreciate the honesty, but damn, that is so fucked up. That is really bad.
Responding to this, I do have a part to play in terms of taking accountability. I am not blameless in all of this. It was my decision to disable account linking at launch so that players could play the game. I did not ensure players were aware of the requirement, and we didn't talk about it enough. We knew about it 6 months before launch, that it would be mandatory for on-
Arrowhead doesn't deal with the selling of the product though, Sony distributes it. Look, I'm gonna play devil's advocate. I genuinely think the guy cares. It's just he couldn't do anything about it. They probably had it written in the contract, like, if they don't publish it, if they want to publish with them, they have to. They didn't talk about it at all. Yeah. Yeah, I feel bad for them, but damn, like, it is, like, he really fucked up, but, like, on the other hand, Sony's really fucked up.
online PlayStation titles. We were asked to make mandatory account linking 6 months before. Wait, I don't understand. Sony informed them 6 months before.
I honestly feel like if it didn't get the attention it did, that Sony wouldn't have made them turn on account linking, or maybe he just hoped they wouldn't actually have to turn it on. It doesn't seem like a decision he wanted to make by other things he's said.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I think he's in a really fucking fucked up position because of what Sony did is really fucked up. Yeah.
Launched to include the account linking as the game was finishing up. And on launch day, it was mandatory, as detailed in the description in the Steam.
There was a detailed description that people don't click on and they don't care. They just want to play the game. I will give them that. There was a big yellow, like, golden, like, sign that said that. But it wasn't really enforced or, like, talked about.
Steam page, and it was disabled a couple of hours after launch because of server issues, which was my decision. Otherwise, the game would have been unplayable for everyone. We notified the community that we were suspending it temporarily, but we would reinstate it in the future. I appreciate your response. I wish to—
What did he say at the end there? Hold on. What does it say? Working our asses off for 8 years, pouring blood, sweat, and tears, and worrying about if players will like our life's work is a good basis for a scam. No, I do feel bad for them. I do. Yeah, like, they are in a horrible position to be in.
Sure. I appreciate your response. I wish to understand why you accepted money from customers from countries you knew were not able to play your game months down the line. Up to the publishers and stores, PSN restrictions are a PSN.
I don't. They messed up too. Again, it is the same position as No Man's Sky. They released a dogshit game because they had to. Because Sony put a gun to their head and said, we need this now. We gave you like 8 months to do this. And then they shitted out a horrible game that ruined their reputation. So they had to, like, basically put their hands, they put their heads down in the sand and just made the game. And then they made it better, like, almost 4 years later. This was in their contract. Like, it is so mean, but it's true. They shouldn't have sold it to people in countries like PSN to begin with. Yeah, that is definitely, like, something that I have to say is what's really bad about this too.
Issue, I wouldn't know why you can't make an account in different parts of the world. While trying to distance yourself from the issue, I think it's best if you stop responding right now. Without Palstet disabling the mandatory linking hours after launch, everyone who couldn't create a PSN account would have refunded, so in a way this is 100% his fault, not Sony's. Ooh. I bet they thought that if they just waited for 6 months, that Sony wouldn't push it on them because the game was doing really well and they would have more negotiating power. Now, this
probably, but Sony doesn't give a fuck. It probably breaks their contract and then they can sue them for breaking the contract. Yeah.
It's obviously a bad idea, but that's what I think probably happened.
Why would Sony not step in to prevent losses? I'm under the impression that maybe because they think they'll make so much money off of scraping data, they don't care. Is Arrowhead in charge of where the game is sold? No. No, Sony is. They're the publisher. My dick. Oh, you want to play Final Fantasy through Steam? Oh, suck my dick. You have to make a Square Enix account. Yeah, it's for data collection, absolutely. Because if the game is... If you're not paying the login... If you're gaming for free and you're not paying a subscription, you are the subscription. Your data is the subscription. Not the Squeenix. Yes, the Squeenix. Use false data. Ah, yes, of course. Let me get my false data out of my false home and my false car, my false credit card, and my false bank. Good idea. Amazing. What else? So if everyone's selling your data, who's buying? Other corporos.